Hi, my name is Leslie Morrissey and welcome to Your Perfect Client, How to Target Your Marketing. Why me? Well, I've run a boutique marketing agency since the beginning of the 2000s. I dipped my toes into the marketing water back in the 1980s. Yes, I'm that old. At Dubai Duty Free, who seem to have done pretty well with their marketing. So I learned from the experts. And I'm on a mission to help business people, especially small businesses and entrepreneurs, to get their marketing to really work for them. People say, well, how do I know if marketing is working? It's really hard to work that out because it's not so easy to measure, because you do a lot of stuff and you don't really know what works and what doesn't. If you're getting clients coming in and something's working, but most people can't remember where they found you. They will probably say, oh, I saw you online, but remembering which platform it was on, whether they bumped into your website by a search or whatever, most of them can't remember. So my advice to people when they ask that question is don't do anything for 3 months and see what happens. That's a bit radical and we wouldn't do that. But marketing is important. It's the energy that gives your business oomph and helps people to connect with you. So the question is, who do you want to work for? And the answer has to be your perfect client. So let's have a look at a perfect client profile. Firstly, why is it important? Back in the days when I started doing websites, I was basically writing content for small businesses. And I would always say to them, so what do your audience want to know? And the answers tended to be that we're really good at what we do, that we're useful, we're reliable, whatever. And I said, how do you know that? And they couldn't really tell me. It was sort of their perception of what their clients ought to want. And they said, well, just write something, write content that presents us well to whoever comes along. And I said, well, that's a bit like throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. It's really better for you if you target your activities at a particular audience. And this goes back to a little anecdote I'll tell you about when I was a consultant, and one of my clients was a big newspaper. So the production manager asked me to come in and have a chat. And I was doing other things then, from HR and training and so on. Anyway, so he said to me, I have a problem. And I said, great, go for it. And he said, I'm looking to recruit a number two, a deputy manager for the production side of the press. And I said, and the problem is, he said, I'm not getting any decent resumes, biodatas, CVs being submitted. I said, so where are you advertising? He said, in the Telegraph. Now, at the time, this was not in the UK. So I said, so why do you pick the Telegraph? And he said, because they've got a really, really good jobs section, and lots of people advertise there. Lots of people look there for jobs. So I said, that's great. So are the demographics of the people that are looking or, getting the newspaper, do they fit your ideal recruit? And he said, I don't know, but probably not, because they're everybody, And I said, so can the newspaper not give you demographics? He said, no, they can't tell me how many people are in the publishing industry. So I said, so do you have a journal for your industry that people like you read? He said, oh, yes. I said, so why don't you advertise in that? He said, well, it's only got a circulation of about 3,000. I said, how many of those 3,000 are actually the right people for you? And he said, quite a lot of them. I said, I rest my case. So it's not a case of getting in front of everybody you can think of. It's a case of finding the people that really need you and that are a really good fit for you and getting in front of them. So it's a bit of a moral story, but it's one of those things. It's true that did happen, but it demonstrates the importance of knowing who you're trying to reach. Not everybody is a potential customer. There's lots of people out there who either already have relationships with people who do what you do. They want a bigger organization or a smaller or someone that's local to them or whatever, and they are not potentially a customer for you. But everybody is not a customer. This is something I found online. It was really funny. There was an important job to be done, and everybody was sure that somebody would do it. Anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody got angry about that because it was everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. It ended up that everybody blamed somebody and nobody did what anybody could have. Now, it's so true. It's a case of knowing who you're trying to target. So let's start off with, are you looking for a business to business audience, or are you a business to consumer audience? And that will help you to start the process of narrowing down who you're trying to reach. That's your first decision. Are you talking to an organization or a person? And the answer is, regardless of how big the company is that you're trying to get into, you are actually talking to one human being. They're the one that will make the decision or will influence the decision. And that may be the business owner, but it also might be a manager in a bigger business. If you're going into a business, if you're going direct to the consumer, that's the person you're talking to, that person. So you need to know who they are. You need to know what rocks their boats. You need to know, for instance, where they are, what sort of age range, if they're in business, what industry they're in, how many staff that business has, what kind of turnover it has. And there's so many things that influence their decision-making process. Their personal style will make a difference. Do they like doing the stuff that you're offering, or is it something they know needs doing and they'd rather not do? Because if that's the case, they're probably a good fit for you. You want to know what the things are that keep them awake at night, what the problems are. So you are still talking to one person. And to find those, you need to find out what they're interested in. So for instance, who are their influencers? Who do they follow on the internet? Is there somebody in an industry that they rate? Are there particular types of business that they're interested in that are maybe allied to yours? Because they could be potential joint venture partners for you. You need to know what keeps them awake at night. What problems have they got that bug them, that make them worry, that eat up their time, that eat up their brain power, that stop them being creative about their business? If you can solve those problems, you've already got a foot in the door. So you need to understand them to the level that you know what those problems are and you know how you can solve them. And that's important. How can you solve their problem? Once you know that, you have potentially already got part of your benefit statements ready, because that's what you're looking at. You're looking at presenting any content that you put out there in terms they will look at and recognize. You need to know what happens if they do nothing. What's the downside? And for me, that's, the danger of doing nothing is not that nothing happens, because that's not true. It's more that if they do nothing, things will change regardless. And if they change for the worse, they can't afford to do nothing. They need to do something. You need to make some connections. You need to find these people. And in order to do that, all the things that you know about them will help you to look at the right places for these people. I always say, if you're, for instance, on Facebook, everybody on Facebook may not be a potential client. If you're business to business, most of the people on Facebook are not looking for what you're offering right now because they're in a different kind of headspace. People on LinkedIn are more business oriented, but all of them are not potential clients for you if you're looking for specific people. However, there are probably groups on LinkedIn that are full of people who are good client matches for you. So it's finding the right places. And what you're looking for is customers who love what you do and who are happy to pay for that. And ideally, who you really enjoy working for. So I would go back to looking at, where do they hang out? Where would you find these people? What kinds of things do they read online? What kind of things do they look at offline? You know, do they have journals for their industry, or do they read particular magazines? You know, if it's a bride and you're offering some kind of service that's suitable for brides, whether that's flowers, hair, gifts, whatever, then, you know, bridal magazines might be a good place to look. If you're looking to offer service to the manufacturing industry, you need to know what publications those kind of people would read. You know, if it's something for generally managers, then you need to be looking at the management magazines. And, you know, most of these publications have a digital version as well. But it's a case of, could you get an article into them so that you're prominent in their industry, if you like. And yes, you know, LinkedIn will probably try and persuade you to join a peer group with lots of other people who do what you do. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that you need to be in the groups where your target audience hangs out. And then you need to be really helpful. And everything you post needs to be focused on your audience. All the stuff on your website needs to be focused on these people, so they feel like you're talking to them and they self-identify. And that's the important thing, that they start to identify themselves so they come to you, so you don't have to run after them so much. So as a small business owner, an ideal client is important that you know who that is. You know exactly what rocks their boat, how they tick, and all the things that will bug them and please them, so you can deliver what they need and show them that you can. Now, there is a worksheet, and if you would like to download it to work through your ideal client worksheet, it's here in the insidenews.co.uk, the treasure chest. You'll see it, the treasure chest, if you go just to the insidenews.co.uk. There's a tab on the menu that takes you there. It will initially ask you to give me your email address, because that's one of my ways of finding people who I might be able to help. I don't bombard people with sales pitches. I tend to send as much value out as possible. Also in the treasure chest, there is loads of free stuff. There's a few things that are paid for, but most of it is free. And there's models, you know, checklists, all kinds of things in there that are useful in reputation marketing. So I hope you found this useful, and I feel very happy if you want to contact me at some point. And remember, what your aim is to get people raving about you. And rave is reputation, authority, visibility, and expertise. So that's it for today. It's been great to talk to you. I hope it's been useful.